Okay, so we are on now. Actually, it's recording now. All right, so now you can see that the name of our project is there, my portfolio. Then there are three subsections. That is tabs, menu, and then screen. If you can see, tabs, menu, and then what? Screen. So the tabs, actually, these are the, if you look at this small Android phone, from the bottom you can see those two icons. These are the tabs. So the first tab is talking about things. So these are the items you're going to customize. By default, they just come here. They're just here to what? To give you a template just to look at how your app will look like. So now, since our app is a portfolio, the project is about portfolio. So we think what should be the main content of a portfolio application. So we can create a home page. I mean the home screen, and we can create maybe my contact, then my bio. So these are actually typical uh, items that can be put in a portfolio application or a website, because the portfolio is just talking about you, your line of career, what you have done, the projects you have worked on, maybe your recent works or your capabilities, what you are able to build. If you're a website developer, if you're a full stack web developer, you can put some of the latest projects you have been working on your portfolio. So now on this tab, you can see that we have this plus button. Actually, on each subsection, we have a button. So you can see that on the tabs. This plus button is used to add a tab. So by default, we have things and categories. The rest are hidden. There's also a shopping cart. If I turn it on, you can see that I have another tab that has appeared here, a shopping cart. We also have the chat tab. You can see that when I turn it on, it appears. But now we don't want any of this. We want to create custom tabs. So for our portfolio website, because none of these tabs are applicable for a portfolio website. So I'm going to turn all these tabs off. Let's go to come here like this, turn this off, and then turn this also off. Let me wait a bit. So they should all disappear by now. I think there's these ones left. My PC is a little bit slow, taking long to respond to these actions. Let me turn off also this. Now I'm remaining with only charts. Now let me create one. I'm going to create the home page. When I come here and I click on the plus button, it's going to give us a new tab. You see, there's this tab that comes with the label new tab. Now I can come. If you look at the right part of your screen, there's this new tab. So this panel that comes on the right is for setting the contents of this tab. So the first item for this tab is the source. So when somebody is on this tab, what kind of data should be loaded? If we are fetching a data, so it's a home page. So which table should we pick this data from? By default, when we created our app, there are these tables that were already created: things, categories, and users. Then maybe we want to load the contents of our home page from a table. So we can choose, okay, our table, the home page should be feeding from the categories table. But then none of this one will correspond to our application, because we are writing a portfolio website. So we are going to create our own tables, like a table for maybe my recent works. Then on the homepage, I'll be posting my recent works. Then the second one is the label. I can change the label now. It should not be new tab. It should be home. So when I change, you can see that home is already here. Now let me cancel. Let me turn off this chart. So I have only one tab now. So I created a tab by default. It's loading what? It's loading data from things. So you can see that when I change the table from things to categories, you'll see the contents of the home screen which I created, the home tab which I created will also change to categories. You see, categories: blocks, clouds, and prism. Now, inside my home, this is the tab I created for home. You can control the content of what, like the layout of the blocks, the layout blocks for your screen here. So there's a screen for each tab. Now on this tab by default we have a search one. We have a search button which is here. You can allow this search button to come. I mean search box to come, or you can make it hidden simply by coming here and turning off this one. So you see, I've turned off and we don't have any search box. I can come here. Let me see. I have to add another one. So here, this is the style, the layout for your homepage. So every content on my homepage is appearing as a what? As a list. So when you look at the right, these are the different layouts. So if I want to switch from list, I can switch to tiles. Then you can see that the display also changes. So actually we are preparing the contents of our homepage. So I'm switching here. I can switch it to a checklist, but the homepage, a typical homepage should look like this. So let's say we have already designed our homepage. We can go ahead and create another tab. We come to tab, you click on plus, you can see that we have another tab that is appearing down here. So if there's only one tab, then this bottom navigation bar will disappear. But if there's more than one tab, then you can see that we have two tabs. One is home, and the second one is the next tab we are creating. Now it's coming as a default, and then we have to set it up. Now you come to the right. You can see that under general, we have the source of data which is coming in. It's coming from the things, table for things. But later on, we are going to create our database with our items, then we feed it here because none of this data is corresponding to a typical what? A typical portfolio website. So I'm going to change this to from this I can say my bio. So this is my biography. So you can see the name of the tab has also changed to my bio. It's a little bit tiny, but it's been written like that. Then the next tab we are also going to create is we're going to create the my contact me. Let's create another tab called contact me. So once on tapping on create new tab, on the right you will see some panel that will allow you to set up that tab. So let's label it as contact me. Such a simple application we are creating. We already have two tabs. So the last thing we are going to do, and we wind up with creating a tab, so that we go to the data. To the data is the icon. On the form, I mean on the home tab, you can see that the icon is not corresponding. A typical home section has an icon of the home. So you click on the home tab, then you go to setting. You can see under label home, we have spanned right to the left. I mean to the right of that box is the icon select drop down. So when you hit on that, it should give us a list of menus. I mean list of icons. So there is going you're going to choose. So let's check anything that looks like an home icon. I think this is looking like an home icon. So I'm going to switch on. I'm going to click on that, and you see it has changed to home. And then my bio also you can just think it over in your head, like how can an icon for a biography looks like maybe an icon that looks like the head of a person, like an avatar. So you click on the my bio, then you go to the setting to the right, the far right. You come again. By default, it's putting that logo for, I mean, icon for spanner, but you want to look for something that looks like an avatar. Of course, this one looks like a a biography, like a profile icon. When I click on it, the icon changes. So we already have another icon. Then the last one is contact me. Maybe I can put the icon for maybe a phone or something that resembles a contact. Now I just look around here. Something close to contact. Let's just look for anything close to contact. I can see for the purpose of demo. We're not going to waste time. We're just going to pick any random icon now. Let's put this mail, this envelope. Already have our thing. Now, as per now, we already created a tab. Now let's go and create a database. We're going to create three tables actually. One table is good. Actually, let's say we're going to create two tables. We have three tabs, but doesn't mean we're going to create three tables. One tab is going to be containing the biography of myself, like myself, what I do or what I'm capable of, the projects I've been running, and everything. Then the last one is going to be the table for my contacts, maybe the emails, my phone numbers, and then all those contact details. Now let's see. I don't know if you're looking at my pointer from the screen. I think if you're able to see, then you can see that on the center here, right on top of this Android phone, there are three tabs. There's one that looks like a table, like a grid icon. That's the data editor. That's where you will be working on your database. The center one is the layout, which we have been seeing ever since the start of this session. So it's the layout. This is the graphical interface of how your data is displayed on the phone. Then the last one is the setting tab. We have seen this the other week also. The setting tab is actually the general setting, maybe the information about your application. Let me see. I think there was some jump here in the network. It should be back. So the settings tab is actually a general setting. Maybe the theme. An application can have a theme. You may say, okay, I want my app to be have a green color. All the buttons to be green. Maybe uh, the main color of the icons green, other color is red. So that is part of the setting we are. Maybe the name of the app. By default, in the start, we created it as my portfolio. That's the name of the app. But then we change our mind. Okay, we don't want this to be the name of the app should not be my portfolio. Let's name it something else. So all those are in the panel for editor. I mean the settings. So that's where you said now. Let's go to the database now. The network is disturbing here a little bit. We already created a simple layout. You can see that all through from the beginning. We have done no coding, but there's a layout already we have created for our app. So let's wait a little bit. This will load a little faster so that we create a table. We're going to create the first table for my biography, and then the second table for my contacts. The my biography table is going to have the ID and then the biography. This is taking too long. Hello? Hello, Auntie. Kula ti gyana money ya. Tika tiya ko food ki money, meeting money. Hmm. Hmm. Abi aka go wani renge. Hmm.
Bala network yako.
Magari wa haya.
Nimekaa chini mingi wangu do not disturb mode.
Guys, I'm very sorry for this network disturbance. It's actually very terrible now. I don't know why. It's like a mobile. Okay, now we are here. I'm very sorry for this network that is taking us back. So let's just go and create a database. Create some tables now without wasting any time. So as I told you before, there were already three tables that we have created before. So let's just create our new tables. Let's create one table called. I'm going to create this as a new empty table. So you could use a Google Sheet, or you can use Microsoft Excel or Airtable. But now we are going to use this glide table, which we what we specified in the beginning.
I told her we do ice cream. It's kind of hot today. Maybe ice cream later on. She'll tell me call me by 5.
So we have created this. Now let's rename our table to bio. Let's call it bio. After naming this as bio, this is actually our table. If you know the layout of a table, it's actually how this is how actually a table looks like. A table has rows, columns.
Okay.
Each row actually is a combination of different columns.
Mm.
So let's create a new row. So by creating this row, we're going to have one row actually. We're not going to have so many rows because the biography can just be one, and then you just keep on editing it because it's your biography. Now on this row, we're going to create a column. Let's call this column ID. Then the data type that's going to be posted in that column is we're going to put it as a number, and then it's going to be like a primary key. That's the configuration by setting it as user specific. So it's going to be a primary key. Now the display precision. This is actually the what? Whether you want it to appear as a whole number or as a decimal number. So we want it to appear as like a whole number. Now let's leave the rest of this, and then let's put this down. So this is our ID column. Now let me delete this column. So we have our ID. So since the ID column has been set to auto increment, we're not going to put anything. Once we add a biography, an ID is going to be assigned automatically, like one. So let's now add the column for that bio. Let's call this bio. and then the data type is actually text. Then we call it done. Then here you can put anything. I am a, a let's say a computer scientist, passionate about mobile apps development, and I like using slides. So we already created a table. You can see. So now when we come back to our layout, we have a table and we have a data which is already being what? Which has already been created into that table. So when I come back to the layout here, when we go to the tab of what? When we go to the tab for the bio, we are going to change the data source. By default, when we come to the my bio, you can see that it's being the source. If you look at the right, the source of that tab is coming from the table called things. But since we have already created a table for bio, we just come and change it. So you see, we already have this. I am a computer scientist. This is my bio. Now I can change. Actually, this is not the way how a bio page should look like. It should look like this. Let's change this. Now, there's this gray card that is appearing and it's empty. It's because we had some empty row which was in our table. Let's go back. We come back to the table here. You can see that we have an empty row here. So let's look at this. I can mark this and then delete it. Let me see. I don't know exactly this thing can be deleted from, but I should be able to delete it. Now let's create another table for my contacts.
Look,
I can create a new table here.
yeah, there's one. It didn't for you.
In
Then
some
level
few
up. We're
minutes,
going to one time.
in some few minutes now
Go in your car. You
to
make your pay premium now,
322,
guys.
it's going to be making 1 hour now. Now
Now,
let's say this table.
we are going to charge a fee of 5,000 for the entrance for the event.
I want to change
Yeah.
this to
Mm.
ID. This is the
So
contact
video
ID,
auditions, we're going to get
and then I want it
we normal some other artists
uh,
maybe to perform alongside the
to
you know
be
the
to be
auditions.
to be what I want it
Yeah.
to be number, and then it should be column specific.
Yeah.
So let me check that.
Okay, fine. Otherwise, you're good. Book your ice cream. I'm going to
So it
zero.
should be column specific. This should be
Mm.
checking it. So let me change this to
Okay.
the whole number.
I okay. Then.
So let me mark this. Now I'm going to add another column for this row. I then call it contact. So this is the contact. Then I'll give it like a text. It should not be column specific. So the first item here, I can just put my email. I can say see, let me see. There's some problem here. I don't know why today is so unfortunate. Let me open this up again. Okay, let's go back. Let's go and check that table
Eh,
again. I think
Tingin
it
there, man.
closed abruptly.
Mabe, way it didn't.
Let me rename this table.
Okay. Yeah,
I can
let's.
call it contacts.
I think you money. I think again. I think Mera, Mera.
That is
I'm
my
doing
first
this
column.
one.
It's an
Two.
ID. Then the second one is
Two.
the
And okay.
contact
This is a
info.
one go.
Actually, let me just call it contact like this.
Very
So it
key.
should not be
So
specific. Now
this
I'm
one
going to
has
change
three
that.
major events.
Now the
It
first
has the
detail here
position,
in the
one year
first
film
way,
maybe showcasing, and the judges look through
new
their work.
columns on the
Then it
new
has
column. We want to automatically add new contents.
it
No.
has an
Okay.
unveiling.
So it
Then
detected that
it
there's a
has
table that
again,
was already having
then it has
the column called
the
contacts.
grand finale. So
So
now
we
that
don't
one,
want to
if
overwrite
the guy is
anything. So let's
available,
just create this as a fresh
you
column.
can come
Now,
up to the event.
this is an
So
email.
again for the audition,
I
very
can say
ASP
email,
on 29th of
maybe
October.
example. Maybe you put your
Mm,
email at gmail.com.
mm.
And the second contact, I can put maybe my phone number.
I'm serious, kidding that again.
Phone and say
Yeah,
maybe
waiting.
0785996 like this. And the last one, I can maybe
Very
put
good guy. I've just called you.
my
If
Facebook
he's
username
available, that's the tricky bit. Very
and
good
put
guy.
my
Now,
Facebook username,
most of the
maybe
sponsors have already come through me.
somebody called John Doe like this. So I already have a table that has all my contacts there. Now I can come back to layout.
Mm,
So under layer under home, let's specify what do we want to be
mm,
seen in the home page here. In the home page, let's just switch it back to I'm going to switch it to contacts. So you can see in the home page my data source is pointing to email. So my first email is uh,
mm,
is my first contact is example at gmail.com.
mm.
Then the second contact is now my phone number,
I
then
know.
this is Facebook. Now when I go to my bio, you can see that it's pointing to my biography. This is just an empty row which I created. I'm going to delete that.
The
Then in
challenge
the
is this.
second tab, I mean
The
the
challenge
third
is
tab
this.
here,
The challenge is this.
we have contact
I do not
me.
have
So this one should be having my
sponsorship. Like
contacts.
almost all the
Now
sponsorship
in the
packages
setting for
are
this
now in
screen,
cash. That's the challenge.
let's turn off the search icon. I
Sponsorship
mean
packages are when
the
I
search
kind,
box.
of course, covering parts of the
So
budget
yes,
for
off.
Legan, of course.
Then the data source would be coming from
Yeah.
contacts.
Mm.
So you can see contact me is fetching this
Very
data
good.
from the database. Email is this, phone number is this.
Mm.
So now
Mm. Mm.
let me come back to my bio, to the table, I mean to the database, and then remove that row. There's this row here which we don't like.
Yeah, very. Higher.
I don't know why there's no option for delete, but once I mark this, there should be an option for
Mm.
there should be an action.
Higher. Okay. Then. No, I am doing what it takes to get Danamagan on board.
So let me
All
come
right.
back to data source. Under data source, let me come to let me first come back home here. So this is the second row which we want to delete. But I don't know why there's no option here. So actually, this is just some guideline on this how these glide apps work. So now we know. Now let's check on this sidebar menu. This sidebar. So you can see that this is our menu. On the menu, there's this one here called there's like there's someone who was logged in by default. A stamps in Woodward is actually some placeholder that has been put in by the systems, but you can manipulate. If you want this to show something else, then under menu, this is actually the tab for menu. Let me close this one. So under tabs, you can find that there's menu. Then user profile is here. When you click on that, let me see. On the user profile, you can see that uh, it's fetching it from the table called users. The table users was already created before, but then you need to also create yours. Let me show you how to create a new one. It's now time even. It's now one. Let's just manipulate this. You see that there's a table called users, and terms in Woodward is in the table here. And then there's this. If you are to create another table, maybe you come here and create another table called. Let's just give it another name because there's already a table called users. I can just call it accounts. Then the first account, maybe somebody who logs into who is using your portfolio app may should have to log in first or something. Essentially, you should have a table for users that will store the name of users, maybe their contact info. So the first one here, let me call it ID. I call it ID. Should be text, I mean number, and then it should be column specific. By default, if it's ID, it's already column specific. Then I create another column here. I can call it full name. And I click done. Then another column is going to be storing the email of that person. And I'll call it, I want it to be storing emails. Let's check. I think email should also go by text like this. Then here is the password. Now, maybe the password of that person and save it in that table. This is actually, I know these are how a table looks like in any database. Even if someone who is using a MySQL database, that's the layout of the table. Then this is the image of that person. Then we are going to change this to image. So you can see any data which we enter in this column must be an image file. Now let me create the first user. I can say the first user is John Doe. Even John Doe is actually a name, an anonymous name. This is a name that has been created to me, and it's actually someone who doesn't exist. It's an example name. So the email can be jdoe@gmail.com. Password, let's say it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Then the
Until
image
you
of this person is here. You can see that
me,
it prompts us what? A dialog
Rafael.
that allows us to pick an image. So I can
Jumi
pick an
akigera
image from the
kiguliro kyapa
computer,
Jumi new
or I
one
can put a
kyapa Jumi
URL
one
or
kyapa
something.
Jumi Northwood production.
And
Gide
let me
bagire
set
mukene
this
made bagire
password
don't
like
have a
this.
camera
I mean
roll
this
arwa
image
one.
like this.
And tell gite but Jumi Northwood production man when they're performing Jumi Northwood when they're performing if you could share with me now.
So we read out the image of that person. So you see
I
that
check Korea.
motorcycle has come. Now when I come back to my tab, let's just wind up with this
Okay.
one now. It has been a hectic session actually with all
Let's
these
go man
things.
video to the
So I'm
window
going to
comment.
change the data source of this menu to point to
Moses play online.
accounts. So I did not name my table. Well, let me go back to that table. I should name it as accounts. But it's using the default name. So let me call it accounts. We have only one user in our account, so we are going to fetch that. Let's say it's that person who was logged in. Therefore, I'm going to change this to accounts. So you can see that we are fetching these from accounts, but then the image should be coming from the image what? The image file. So let's see how we set this. Let me change this to email. Let me set this. accounts. Let me set this to email. And name should be set as full name. It should come. It should come. I don't know. But we are past time now. Even I don't know. This thing has been hectic. So now let me first listen from you guys. We have been off, and my network has been disturbing me so much. I've been off for like some seconds, like within that session. At some point, I don't know because like right now, it's like I'm just showing you the overview of like light ups, and I know you have picked actually some structure of building an application now. So maybe let me first hear from you guys. Yet past time, I've not heard from you even like for some times now. Are we still on? I can see Monica has left now. We have Maureen and and Brian.
Gilbert, hello,
Yeah, yes,
am I audible?
yeah, I'm getting
Hello,
you.
okay.
Hello,
So,
yes, I'm getting you.
I, okay, so I've seen today you started to give in an overview uh of what we had done last time. Then you started on new features, not so?
Yes,
So so I was thinking maybe you could just keep writing, like at the end of every session you keep writing what has been covered so far, like
mhm,
you could just maybe like today we did like you could start for the start, like down accessing the application, downloading these, getting these features on, like the features we have covered so far, because I think this is going to be a series so that we are able to also like do practice, um
yes,
do practice when we maybe get a PC any other time,
yes.
and we don't,
Yes,
and we make sure we acquaint ourselves with what has already been covered, yeah, something like that.
well, that's a good suggestion. Actually, like for the last session and today,
Gilbert,
yes,
hello Opio, anybody here?
I'm getting you. I'm getting you, Maureen.
Yes, so that was my first submission.
Yeah, that's a good. That's actually a good advice. So I'll be writing some key points, some of the things we already covered
Gilbert,
down. And yes,
Gilbert, over to you.
yeah, Maureen. Thank you for your comments and advice. It's actually a good point of view. So I think I'll be writing these recaps, mostly the key points, the key things we're being handling in every session, like for today and the last session. So I'll just be putting it down. And these recordings, I think for the last one, I don't know what happened. The last recording I did, I was looking for it, but surely I'm going to get it, and then coupled with this, I'm going to the one I recorded today. I'm going to pile them together and also put it somewhere, maybe on, post it on YouTube, then coupled with some writing. So if at point there's going to be a reference, when you have a PC, you can use those as your guides. Yeah, that's it. Yes, Brian. I saw your hand up.
Yeah. Thank you, Gilbert,
For
for that wonderful
that
presentation.
wonderful presentation.
I just
I
want to
just
say
want
I've
to say
learned something on
I've
this,
learned
and
something on this. And
though it's my first time to
although
use
it's
it,
my first
and
time to use it, and
I have a feeling I can
I have
get
a
this
feeling
thing
I can
done. I
get
think
this thing done. I
by
think
tomorrow you will have
by tomorrow you
a
have
look at what I've
a
done
look
so
at what
far.
I've done so far.
But I have a question.
But I have to
Like
have a question. Like
I've seen
I've
on the
seen
layout
layout,
tab we have
we have
we have something
we have something
like for iPhone, Android, and those things. So my
So
question is it
my question
can we
is,
develop one
can we
which is
develop one
responsive that
which is
can work for both
responsive that can
iPhone,
work for both
Android,
iPhone,
and all those things?
Android, and all those things?
Before I
Come
continue with the
again?
next
Before I
question.
continue with the next question. Come again? Didn't get that
At
well.
the same time, by the way,
At the same time,
like Android,
hey, Brian.
iPhone, and that's all at the same time.
Okay, Brian, why are you asking this like the capability of the like maybe publishing these app from Glide app to run on both Android and iOS?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that one is something I've not yet explored, but surely on Android it can run very well. But on iOS, I've not yet confirmed that, but it should run because I've never seen any limitation that has been pointed on Glide apps that it may not run on iOS, but it should.
I think they should,
I think they
because
should,
what I've seen in the
because
layout, we
what
have
I've
a
seen in the
layout for
layout, we have
Android,
a layout for
layout for
Android,
iOS, and
for
one for
iOS,
iPhone.
and for
But my question is,
but my question
when
is
you're designing,
when
is
you're
it a
designing,
must that you
is it a
specify
must
that I
that you
want this
specify
to be
that I
for
want this to
iPhone
be
or
for
this for
iPhone or
Android and this
this
for
for
iOS,
Android
something
and
like
this
that?
for iOS,
So
something
that
like
is
that?
what I'm trying to
No,
ask.
that is what I'm trying to ask. No, we're designing like let's take an instance like if you are designing with React, like with React you can design like build once. There's this slogan called build once and run everywhere. So you can just build a project. At the end, there are tools that help you to run these things on to build the APK for both iOS and Android. So with this, you just build once. Then the end result under publishing now, there are different options where you want this thing to run.
Okay,
Okay,
that's good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So because like let's say you're using React, there's capacitor that helps you to build APK for both Android and iOS. And then there's Electron. There's another tool called Electron that will allow your app that simple thing you build like this interface we build. If you use Electron, if you were coding like with React, Electron will help your application to run as what as a software. It can be an executable file that will run on Windows or MacBook. They can be executable files. So you see, there are tools that convert a simple project to run on any platform. So maybe if there's no much question now, let's just let's just call this a day, a evening. Sadia Jalo. See ya cho updated. Pange wa gwe. Ne cho tim ko an mom do pur ko akin be cha ka go tim do ak ya ko. Ya wa jani a wa ye na ti ya mo ke ni. So arwa men pu do.
Go to me go dog gido peram tin jam wen dog gido nail be kun ta chau chamana Yeah. On what? No, 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 no. Ana de you well papa. Papa no ma cha ma cher bunia mama. Gini no mere bet ki chiana mama running around. Ka chiana be to ga we are no willow. I even lost those contacts. It's been a long time. Mm.
I
Hang on.
so gudong mo rome kudo ya store ya.
Mm.
Oh yeah. Why meti you meti ya yo kinya kuya bad.
Mm.
Biti yenye so